All right, guys, let's knock this out. My favorite few minutes of the week.
General thoughts on Auburn?
Obviously, really talented program. I mean, it's had tremendous success the past few years. They got a real identity, and obviously, I don't think the coaching change has done much to change that identity. It's a team with, great athletes and talented offensive players. They mix things up on offense. They have good individual players. They have, they run some flex type actions. And then, defensively, they're able to get after you a little bit, with some athletes, and they're very active and they got great hands. Very handsy defensively and good on the glass. So, they're Auburn to me looks, they're in the same realm they've been in the past couple years. So it's going to obviously present some great challenges.
Obviously, you mentioned the coaching change, Stephen Pearl taking over his dad, Bruce. What was your relationship with Bruce? Did you have one?
Yeah, no, I mean, I have a little one. I mean, we don't like, talk on the daily or anything, but, Coach Pearl, he's one of the great coaches and one of the great personalities in college basketball, and he has been for years. He's just been a consistent winner everywhere he's been. He's never short of a one-liner. He's very quotable, and he's just a fun guy to be around. He and I connected a little bit, because his team did the foreign trip to Israel the year before we did, and then we kind of followed in their footsteps. So we communicated over that a little bit and about the experience. So, no, just one of the good guys.
Did your relationship result in the series, you and him, and did you have any idea?
Yeah, I mean, he had reached out to me on this one, and whenever you have a program like Auburn reaching out to you, willing to start a home and home at your place, I mean, that's a good starting point for a conversation. So that's where it all started.
You mentioned, Tommy, obviously, after the game at UConn, that these 2 weeks were going to be important for development. What have you seen from your club that leads into these 2 games?
Well, it is important. You really want to establish yourself and kind of establish your identity, and figure out what are the things that you value on the court. You want your team to kind of gain an understanding of that this time of year when you have a few games under your belt. So that's been the approach, and Saturday night's a test. So we'll see. I'll be able to give you probably a more accurate answer Saturday after the game, based on kind of how we perform. But yeah, it's been a good couple weeks to be at home and to kind of get, re-energized, refocused, and, the season's still early, and, November went fine. Let's see what we got in December.
Has Yvonne been practicing, or what's his status?
I mean, he looks fine. I mean, he looks fine to me. He's gonna, in practice here, he's done a lot of stuff in the past couple days, and, expect him to be a full go in practice today. So, we'll just react accordingly.
Can you talk about your freshmen collectively and how they've been through the first month?
I mean, they've been great. We're obviously asking a lot, and we got four true freshmen in our top 8. Which not a lot of programs have. I'm happy with the progress they've made. I'm happy with the experiences they've gained. I think it for me, the most important thing is it provides a great platform for them to continue to learn from. And so, yeah, so I'm really happy where they're at, and I'm excited to see kind of what the next month, brings from them. And it might not mean, significantly more contributions. It might just be like kind of stabilizing, figuring out what consistency looks like and things like that.
How does it help to have the senior guys helping them, or does that really happen?
Well, it helps a lot, because we've been able to get those guys experience while we're having success. So, maybe if they've had, a tough game or two, we as a team, we were able to pull it out, and, whether, it's those veterans getting us through or however it played out. So, the freshmen haven't had to deal with, maybe, a struggle or failure that's put on their shoulders. And so they've been great. It's been great that we've been able to get the positive results, but, that's never guaranteed. And I'm sure there's going to be some big bumps in the road. But like I said earlier, I'm really happy with the experiences they've gotten, and now I want to see what they can do with those experiences.
Braden's gotten himself, Tommy, into some foul trouble in some of these bigger games. What are you asking him to be better
Well,
at?
I mean, he need to go back and look at the fouls, and maybe sometimes they're a little bit bad luck or just getting caught in a tough position. I don't think it's anything we need to to make too big of a deal. I mean, so like again, it's an experience that probably wasn't a positive one. Braden's a smart kid, and so I think he'll learn from that, and hopefully he can avoid too early fouls in the first half of one of these games. I think I mean he has had a couple of those, which have probably impacted his overall performance.
I just following up on Yvonne, did he, I just want to make sure, like, did you guys rule out, was it high sprain or anything that could last a while,
Bruce, that's not an appropriate question. Like I told you, he had a sprained ankle. That was very accurate. Nothing happened. I don't think he even got an X-ray, so I think people that are jumping into those conclusions are being dangerous. Let J-Rock do his job. He's one of the best. Let our doctors do the job. They do a great job. Let our strength coach do his job. They do a great job, and he's fine. I mean, I literally just walked by McHale, and he was outside shooting in a full sweat, shooting jump shots, and we practice at 2:30. If he was that injured, he'd be in a gurney somewhere. He's not. He's fine.
Because there's such a degree between like what Kirk Reese had a few years ago where he had the high
For sure
sprain,
there is.
one where
I
maybe-
told you he had a sprained ankle, and he was fine. And I knew he was fine right after the game. I wasn't the one jumping to conclusions. So I would just let our trainers do their job. And if he can't play, he can't play. If he can play, he can play. We're not going to make too big of a deal out of it one way or another. Next man up.
Well, speaking of that, yeah, I mean, what kind of rotation effects could be, if anything, if he is limited in some form? Do you expect?
I don't expect him to be limited. I'm not good with hypotheticals, Bruce. You know that.
I was just wondering, like, are you figuring?
No, Bruce,
Dwayne
he's
get-
fine. Bruce, he's fine. He's fine. He's fine. Okay, I don't have to do injury reports, but I'm an honest guy. He's fine. And if he turns out to not be fine, we'll find out. As of now, he's fine.
Coach faced some pretty good forwards already this season. Keyshawn Hall is a guy that you're familiar with, challenges.
Keyshawn Hauser, he's really talented, offensive player. I mean, he looks like he's shooting the ball well. Obviously, had a great game last night. The thing I remember from him here, he was really shifty and a lot quicker than maybe you felt like when you watched film. And yeah, so I mean, I'm sure that presents a lot of challenges, for anybody that's guarding him. I mean, obviously the guy's scoring over 20 points a game, had 29 last night or something like that. So, I mean, the dude can put the ball in the bucket. Good player.
With Hall and Kevin Overton, you saw in both the Big 12 last year. Are they being used any differently? You see anything different?
I mean, looks like Overton has he's more of in a starter role, and last year he was more, kind of either off the bench or a deeper option, with amongst the five guys on the court. So, but no, I mean they're both guys that play. They're confident players. They play with a lot of confidence. They're given a lot of freedom. And obviously last night, I mean, I think the guys almost combined for 60 points, those two guys. So that's not even including, they have a really talented young guard there as well. So, I mean, they have a lot of good pieces.
You've had a lot of big non-conference wins on the road. What does it mean to be able to have that opportunity this weekend at home?
Well, it means a lot. Obviously, we love playing these types of games, and it's extra special when you can bring it home for your home fans. I know our home fans, yearn for these types of matchups. They're just not easy to put together. They're just in this day and age in college basketball, it's just not as easy as it would seem. So we're thankful, to have a willing partner in Auburn, and I'm sure next year they're excited to return the favor to us next year when we have to visit them. But it means a lot. I know Saturday, games in Tucson, are special, and I'm sure our fans will be excited. I mean, I guess they even have a little concert deal before the game. So, yeah, hopefully everybody comes out and has a good time, and there's an entertaining game to follow.
Going forward, are you still thinking you can have a home and home here and on the road every year with all the other opportunities that are out there?
I mean, yeah, we're processing all that stuff and figuring it out as it happens. I mean, obviously they're going to allow more games in the near future, or another game. I don't know if it's going to be plural. There's always these conversations on the side. So, yeah, I mean, I love having a few. I would love to have a few true home and homes, if it can work out that way. But unfortunately, you don't always get what you want, and you kind of gotta, play the hand you're dealt as things play out in front of you.
You mentioned that you and Bruce talked about Israel. At any point during that conversation to come up, hey, we should play each other, or where did that?
I don't remember that conversation, none of those that then. I mean, it just came up. He just reached out to me one day and like, hey, let's do a home and home. We both don't mind scheduling tough games. I think it'd be great for both our programs, and I agreed. That was it.
Homes are kind of coming back, like the really good teams in the country playing each other home and home. I don't know if you agree with that, but
Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, maybe you could chalk it up. You know, we're right in the middle of the SEC ACC challenge, which are home and home matchups. You know, I mean, and you know, are those agreed upon or forced upon? I don't know. You know, but yeah, you would like to see the good home and home games. You know, continue to be something. But you know, what's cool about playing in a conference like the Big 12. You know, I know we don't do true home and home. You know, because there's just an odd number of teams you couldn't do it, or you'd be playing on what would that be, a 34 game conference schedule. You know, so what's cool about that is every year you're going to get 10 great home games in conference no matter what. You know, kind of how it slices and dices. So I think it's great. I mean, I love playing these games on college campuses. But I also don't mind going and playing a good neutral game as well. I think it's important for your team to be good at that experience because that's the NCAA tournament is truly neutral games, in NBA style arenas. So I think it's good preparation.
The minutes that Evan gave you in that last game looked like there was more energy from him at the defensive end of the floor. How did you just assess what you got?
I mean, Evan's been great. Evans. I mean, like I've said all before. I mean, guys, like. I'm stuck in a situation where I got 4 freshmen, and I'm really trying to develop them for, to get everything we can out of them this year. And I know we have, some tough upcoming games. We've got a tough conference schedule coming up, and I'm trying to, maybe get some of our higher end talent, more prepared. And that's all it is. I mean, there's no doubt that, Evan could be getting more opportunities. I mean, it's just a decision I've made. Evan's been great in practice, and he's been awesome, really, really helping us prepare. And I'm not when he's on the court, I'm not nervous. I think we're fine. So like I said, these seasons are long, and things happen over the course of these seasons. And Evan, needs to stay ready because he really could have some important moments for our team down the stretch run of this season.
Partly because he is a grad, he's played it, in the Ivy League, started, that you don't feel he needs as much time to develop?
I mean, and listen, it could be a combination of a lot of things. We were pretty honest with Evan when we took this opportunity. We had a player, in Conrad Martinez that I really liked, and it wasn't easy for me to get him the opportunities I felt like he deserved. So Evan kind of plugs into that role, and it just kind of something that made sense for him to come back home. He always wanted to play here, and for us to have a really good player who that may or may not get the opportunities he deserves, and would be okay with that. I mean, that's super important for your culture, and I really value that, and I appreciate Evan every day for those small sacrifices he makes to help make our program better. But listen, I'm not shutting the door on anything. I mean, he's one high ankle sprain away from being really important to this team. So let's keep him prepared to play, and let's not write this like an obituary. I mean, the guy's a good player whose coach has decided not to play him because he's trying to give those opportunities to some freshmen that are really talented that need those opportunities to develop for a team that's trying to do something really special this year. And that's all the thinking that went into the decision.
Contingency plan for some of these things.
I don't know. Oh my gosh, here we go. We need to take this to Bob Dobbs, Bruce.
What do you expect from your team this weekend, and how have you prepared them for this?
Well, I expect us to come out and play with great effort against a really good opponent. In a great atmosphere, and we've prepared like we always would. First off, we focus on ourselves and the things we need to do individually and collectively as a group to be successful. And then obviously we take a look at our opponent and figure out what challenges they'll present and try to decide if there's any, adjustments to our base plan that we need to make. So no, I'm excited. I'm excited, to get to Saturday night. But I'm also excited for, practice here in another hour. So, we'll have a good practice, which will help us get ready for hopefully good practice on Friday, which will hopefully get us ready for a good shoot around Saturday, afternoon, and hopefully lead up to a good game Saturday night. I mean, that's the simple preparation.
You guys end up using the extra time this week, did you dive into any more specifics individually, or?
Just normal business as usual. Just the process of getting better as a team and getting better as individuals, with how it pertains to, contributing to the team. I mean, that was our focus this week. Nothing different than we would do in a normal week. All right, thanks, guys.